The film begins with a prisoner named Red, who is serving his sentence for robbing a bank. We know that Reed was imprisoned for 2 years, but he is released after serving half of his sentence thanks to his good conduct and behavior. When he goes out, Red is very happy because he will return to his home and family. As soon as he goes out, his wife Clee, who is very cheerful, is waiting for him to come back to live with them again. When they return home, Clee talks to Reed and asks him not to do anything wrong that would return him to prison, and advises him to think of her and their youngest daughter about me. We know that throughout his imprisonment she was hiding from her daughter the truth of his imprisonment, and Red is surprised to learn that no one else can rely on him. As they were talking, they entered me and ran towards Reed. Very happy that he was back, Reed notices that his daughter speaks to him in French and does not speak English. So Key explains that Bia attended a French school. Meanwhile, Lolita, Pia's nanny, arrives and welcomes Reed's return. Reed discovers that Lolita also speaks French, so Clee explains to him that she had little money, so she agreed with Lolita to work for them in exchange for teaching me French. She also explains to him that Lolita loves me and considers her daughter. Red notices a painting painted by Clee, so he tells her that it resembles the wall that he saw every day in prison, but he does not understand its meaning, and she tells him that she will display her paintings in the exhibition of the same night, and he would like to stay with her at home, but he agrees with the importance of the exhibition for her, so she tells him that all her money was spent because of her daughter's education, and she tells him that their financial situation deteriorated from his entry in prison. So Red tells her and assures her that she will act on the subject of money and will improve their lives for the better, and they agree that they will meet at the exhibition at night. At that time, a French man named Luke arrives at the airport, and the officer asks him why he was visiting America, and Luke replied that he came for work. The officer then reviews Luke's data and discovers that he has been on the list of those prohibited from entering America for some time, but his name has recently been removed from the list and no longer exists in it. He gives him his passport and is allowed to leave. After Luke leaves the airport, he goes to a car garage, and there he tries to steal one of the cars. But the owner of the car sees him and yells at him and threatens him that he will call the police. Then it turns out that Luke is a professional killer with very high skills, as he attacks the owner of the car with a knife and kills him, then takes the car key from him and rides it and goes his way, until he reaches a bar owned by someone named Jan. As soon as Jean saw Luke, he was terrified, and we know here that Jean was an arms dealer, and he thought that Luke had come to kill him. But it turns out that Luke didn't come for him, but needs a quantity of weapons. Then Jean takes him and they go up to the roof of the building where he shows him a large and different range of weapons. Luke grabs a sniper rifle with a silencer and tries it, shooting a bullet at a man standing in the street. But the bullet hits the cup in his hand, so Jean says that the gun has a defect. After that, Luke chooses the weapons he needs, but he asks John to also give him the girl he saw with him at the bar. Jean is surprised by his request and tells him that the girl is his girlfriend, but when he sees that Luke does not answer him, he is afraid of him and changes his mind and agrees. Then we see Zhang sitting in the bar with 2 of his friends who are surprised that Luke allowed him to approach his girlfriend, and someone tells him that if he were in his place, Luke would have been killed from the beginning. But it's very difficult because Luke is a professional killer. He has high skills, besides being mentally disturbed and dangerous. And above all, the police killed his brother a while ago, and since then, he has become like madness in control, killing anyone anywhere and at any time. So Jean asks his friends to act with Luke calmly, and no one tries to annoy him so he doesn't kill them. When Luke walks out of the room, Jean asks him about his girlfriend. Luke responds to him coldly, saying that he killed her. Then one of Jean's friends gets very angry and tries to kill him, but Luke shoots him and immediately kills him. Jean grabs his gun to shoot Luke, but Luke is faster than him and kills him, and a bullet comes out of Jean's rifle and hits his other friend's head, and he dies immediately. Then Luke comes out of the bar and sees a man driving a car he likes, so he approaches him and threatens him to force him to get off. And as soon as he gets off, Luke shoots him and kills him. Then he gets in the car and continues his way. But after a short time, a police car appears behind him, and an officer gets out of it and asks for his papers. Luke throws a small bomb under the car and kills the officer. Then he goes down and shoots the other officer and kills him too, and then blows up the car with him. Then he sees another car in front of him, and as soon as its owner notices that Luke is carrying a weapon, until he gets on the run from it, Luke rides it and continues his way. After that, we move on to Chloe, who is in the exhibition preparing the paintings for the display, And Derek, the owner of the exhibition, arrives and notices that she is nervous, telling her that everything will be fine and that she will be able to sell all the paintings. Then he takes her to his office to talk to her, and there he surprises her by confessing his feelings towards her and tells her that he loves her and wants to fuck her. But Chloe rejects his words and tells him that she is married, as well as that she does not feel any affection for him. Derek tries to convince her to have a secret relationship, explaining that her husband does not love her. Otherwise, he would not have left her for 2 years because of his work. Then Chloe reveals to him that her husband was not traveling, but was in prison, and that he only came out today. She threatens him that if her husband knows what he wants to do with her, he will hurt him. Then Derek changes his style and threatens her in turn, and telling her that if she does not repay the loan she took within 48 hours after the exhibition, he will put her in jail. But Chloe doesn't care about his words and leaves him. At that time, Reed goes to meet his friend Yuri, and Yuri is very happy to see him. We know here that Yuri was Reed's partner in robbing the bank, but the police did not arrest him, nor did Reed mention his name to them. We also know that Yuri cared for Reed's family throughout his imprisonment and watched them from afar to make sure they were okay. However, Reed is angry with Yuri for not visiting him in prison, Yuri justing that he did not want to see him behind bars. As they talk, Officer Ernst, the officer in charge of monitoring Reed, enters them. Ernst talks to Reed and tells him that he will remain on surveillance for 5 years, and that if he commits any violation of the law, he will return to prison again. After that, Ernst searches Reed to make sure he does not carry any weapons or prohibitions, but finds him clean and free of anything. So he shakes his hand before he leaves, warning him that he will stay under his eyes all the time. After Ernest leaves the place, Yuri takes out a gun trying to kill him, but Reed stops him, guides him, and removes him from his decision, explaining to him that Ernst is just a man who does his job. He also tells him that Ernest lost his wife and children, and that is why his style is violent and rude. Reed then opens a secret door with Yuri leading to an underground room, and they sit there. Yuri then encourages Reed to open the safe in front of him and return to their old days. But Reed fails because he lost his skills due to long years in prison. However, he remains optimistic that over time he will regain his skills and become better than he was. Then Yuri uses his key and opens the safe to discover that it contains bonds worth $600,000, which is the amount he stole from the bank earlier. Each of them begins by talking about what they will do with their share of the money. Reed then offers Yuri to accompany him to the Chloe Gallery, and at first Yuri refuses because he doesn't like the atmosphere of paintings and exhibitions. But Reed insists on him and says he doesn't want to go alone, so Yuri finally agrees. In the exhibition, Chloe is standing with an art critic in front of one of her paintings, but the critic tells her that he does not understand anything from the painting. At that moment, she saw Chloe, Reed, and Yuri inside the place, so she left the critic and headed towards them to welcome him. While walking, people are heard talking badly about her. Some say that she is a fraud and stole her work from other artists, and some say that she is a failure and is not good at drawing at all. Chloe is annoyed by the words I heard. Suddenly, Derek comes and takes her to get to know a woman from China, tells her that this lady may buy many paintings from her, and tells her that if that happens, it will be because of him, because he is the one who invited her specifically to the exhibition. But when Chloe goes to meet the lady, she discovers that she is making fun of her and her paintings. She goes to Reed and Yuri and tells them what happened, so Reed tries to relieve her, and tells her that the whole exhibition is not important, so that she doesn't feel sad. Chloe calms down and leaves him to see the rest of her guests. But Reed hears a group of critics mocking Chloe. He gets very angry and almost beats one of them. But Yuri prevents him and tells him to calm down and reminds him that he may not make problems, or he will return to prison again. Yet Reed remains unable to be silent as he hears someone mocking his wife. At home, Lolita is sitting with Bea and playing together. After they finish playing, she goes to the bathroom to brush her teeth. At that moment, the doorbell rings, and when Lolita goes to open it, she finds Luke in front of her. She tells him that the owners of the house are not there, but Luke forcibly enters and tells her that he is a friend of the family and that he will wait for them to return. He keeps moving at home in a suspicious way, prompting Lolita to ask him to go out or she will call the police, but he ignores her words and refuses to leave. Then he sees a picture of Libya with Reed and Chloe. He understands that Reed has a baby girl and asks Lolita about her. Lolita refuses to answer and takes a knife out of her pocket and attacks him, but Luke avoids her attack and kills her. At this time, Bea hears a voice at home and comes out of the bathroom to see what's going on, and she's scared when she finds that Luke killed Lolita. She runs to protect her from him, and Luke starts looking for her all over the house. Then she takes Bea out of her hiding place and heads towards Lolita to check on her. So Lolita tells her that she is still alive and asks her to run away quickly. She hears her words and rushes out of the house and runs down the street. Luke sees her running and shoots her but fails to hurt her. He gets very angry and decides to leave the house. Before he goes out, he finds a paper with the title of the Chloe exhibition written in it. In the exhibition, Reed Ernst sees very angry, so he asks Chloe why he is there, and she answers him that Ernest is interested in art. Chloe is nervous and telling Reed that the exhibition has failed, so she will owe a lot of money to Derek, because there is no painting that will be sold and you will not be able to return his loan. She tells him that she had to take money from Derek because she spent all their savings on teaching B. Then Red from Chloe understands that Derek was trying to harass her, so he gets angry and decides to take revenge on him. But Yuri blocks him and tells him that if he makes any mistake, he will return to prison again. And then she will have to ask for a divorce. Because she can't stand this experience again, Reed takes control of his nerves and apologizes to Chloe, and tells her that he does not want to sell the paintings, but will buy them from them and hang them all at home, and thinks that he promised her to take care of the money problem. So he doesn't want her to worry about the loan at all. Chloe calms down and tells him that she's going to get her coat to leave with him. Then we discover that Lolita is still alive, but her injury is serious. She starts crawling on the floor until she reaches the phone. At the same time, Chloe is preparing to leave the exhibition. Derek comes and tells her that the exhibition has failed, and he assures her that he will take his money from her and her family and leave them on the street. Then he tries to get close to her again in the hope that she has changed her mind, but she refuses and asks him to stay away from her. At that moment, Lolita calls her to tell her what happened, but Derek takes the phone from her and breaks it. Chloe gets tired and leaves quickly. At that time, Bea was able to reach the exhibition, and once she saw her mother running towards her and telling her what happened, suddenly Luke appears in the place and takes out a weapon and directs it toward Chloe and Bea. Then, Red sees him and screams loudly and tries to stop him. As soon as Luke sees Reed, he shoots him, but Yuri moves him and receives the bullet instead. At the same moment, Chloe takes her daughter Pia and tries to protect her, while Ernest takes out his gun and starts shooting. Reed takes advantage of what is happening and rushes towards Yuri to reassure him, but discovers that his injury is very serious. Yuri gives him the key to the safe and asks him to go save his family, and then he dies. Then Luke randomly opens fire inside the place and kills a large number of critics, and their blood splats on all of Chloe's paintings. Reed runs in the middle of the shooting and manages to reach his wife and daughter, but Derek appears in front of them and orders them to leave the scene. Reed pounces on him and beats him hard and violently to punish him for what he did with Chloe, then asks him if there is a way out they can escape from. Derek tells him that there is an emergency door, but it is closed. Reed takes the fire extinguisher and breaks the door, and everyone quickly gets out of the exhibition and gets in the car. At that moment, they see Luke coming out behind them from the exhibition. Chloe asked Reed to take the gun in the car. Although the gun is small and contains only one bullet, Reed takes it and shoots Luke, but he doesn't hit him. The car starts very quickly and hits Luke. Luke clings to the roof of the car and drops his weapon on Reed's man. Then he grabs Red's neck and tries to strangle him, but Reed shoots until Luke has to leave him, and then Luke disappears. Chloe Reed asks why Luke's attempts to kill them, and Reed tells her that Luke is a hired killer and that his brother was his partner in the bank robbery, and the police killed him, so Luke wants revenge on him, and he also wants to get the money he has. Then Chloe gets angry with Reed, because he deceived her that he got rid of the money he stole, but he explains to her that that money is the only solution to their problems. Chloe is convinced by his words and they go to Yuri's shop. When Reed gets out of the car, he asks Chloe to wait for him to get the bond and come back. Then he opens the safe with the key he got from Yuri and puts all the bonds inside it in the bag. Then Chloe falls down the stairs in front of him, and Luke appears behind him raising his weapon and tells him that he will kill him and finish everything, and thus he will have taken revenge for his brother's death. Reed tries to explain to him that it was the police who killed his brother, not him, and offers him to take all the bonds and even kill him if he wants, but in return lets his wife and daughter live in peace. However, anger controls Luke, so he shoots Reed. So Reed takes Shelm for his daughter behind him, so she enters the safe and closes it. Reed falls to the ground and asks Chloe to run away, while Luke approaches him and closes the safe on Bear and tells Reed that his daughter will die in 5 minutes due to lack of oxygen, and that he will leave him to see her die in front of him. And then he will go to kill his wife and come back. At this time, Chloe runs inside a large tunnel not knowing where to lead. But she hears Luke's voice approaching her and she hides. As soon as he approaches, he hits him on the face and falls. So he stitches the machine with her hand in his back and runs again, calling Reed. And here we discover that Reed is still alive. The bullet stopped the key in his pocket. He gets up quickly and tries to open the safe with the key to save his daughter. But the key is damaged by the bullet and cannot open it. At that moment, he hears the voice of Chloe calling him. So he controls himself and asks him to be patient until he saves her mother and returns to her. Then Luke appears in front of Chloe and beats her to fall to the ground. And he almost prepares on her. But Reed appears at the right time and saves her. So Chloe runs away while a fierce battle begins between Reed and Luke, hitting each other violently until they return to the room where the safe is. And it looks like Luke is going to beat Reed, but suddenly Ernest appears and shoots Luke. After Luke is injured, he takes out a bomb from his pocket and detonates it to die himself. Bonds are on fire and burning, while Reed, Chloe and Ernst manage to protect themselves from the explosion. Reed and Chloe then rushes to save P from the safe, but Ernst raises his gun in the face of Red and wants to catch him. Reed understands that his daughter is still locked inside the safe, so he has to let him open it before she dies. Ernest sympathizes with him and agrees. Reed tries with all concentration to open the safe, and actually succeeds in saving his daughter. He then reaches out to Ernest to put the handcuffs on it and arrests him. But Ernst surprises him that he will not arrest him because the bonds have burned, and thus there is no evidence against him. Ernst apparently sympathized with Reed and refused to arrest him. Days later, we see Reed and Chloe at home and they are confused, thinking about how they will deal with their debts. Suddenly they hear knocks on the door, and when they open it, they are surprised by the presence of Derek in front of them. And he tells them that Chloe's paintings have all been sold for a large amount because people were impressed with them after they were covered with the blood of critics, and they are even waiting for other paintings from them, and they have also paid in advance. This news makes Reed, Chloe and him very happy, and they jump with joy. And so the movie ends. Don't forget to like if you like the video, and subscribe to the channel if you like this type of videos and you want it to continue.